Today's video will be all about fixing bugs and polishing the game. This video is part of the Devlog series about finishing my first game on Steam. The game is called CreepWars TD, it's a tower defense game and it's in early access at the moment. My name is Christian Fischer, I am a German engineer and part-time video game developer. I have decided to set the full release date of CreepWars TD to April the 15th. So there are roughly 4 weeks left to finish the game and market it. This means that I have to finish the UI and overall look of the game as fast as possible to create a new trailer and marketing assets. My plan is to create the trailer next week, so the next week's devlog will be all about trailer creation. After that I will look at the Steam page and optimize it as much as possible. This leaves me with 2 weeks for bug fixing and writing emails to influencers, etc. I will share my approach and thoughts during this period with you. But at first, what have I done this week? So the first thing I have done this week was to add a possibility to hide dialogues. This means when you start the game now, you can go to the options menu and now you can show or hide the dialogues. This means if I leave this unchecked and go to the first level, then no dialogue shows up and you can just start the game. You don't have to skip over all the dialogues. You can also go here in-game in the menu and enable or disable it. So I think this is a pretty good addition. The next thing on the list was to add a visualization of the end of the path. This was suggested by assignment nearby 2352 on Reddit, but I have decided to not to use a 3D model. Instead I have added another 2D model to the end of the path. That's pretty much the same like for the spawn point, and while I've done that I decided to also update the model of the start point of the creeps. So before I had this very simple skull, now I used the same skull which I used for the icon creation in one of the last devlogs. And here at the end of the path there is the end path visualization, just a shield and 2 swords, and in game it looks like this. So here's the skull, this creeps will spawn here, and then at the end of the path you can see this indicator. And as always, when we press start next wave, it disappears and the creeps start to spawn. So that was also a very simple thing, but I think it adds some polish. The next thing was to get the UI to only show relevant data, because before it was like that the UI always showed the creep and tower relevant data, which can be a bit confusing. I will show you that in an old version of the game. So when we start the map, you see that this version has the old UI, and when we start a wave now, you can see that here we have some tower relevant data like the attack power, the range, the attack speed, and then here we have the bounty for killing the creeps. So the top bar is not relevant for the orcs in this case, because they are creeps. And when we build a tower now,
Yes.
You can see that the bar is still here. To fix that, I had to change some scripts I have written on top of the RTS engine. That was not very complicated, and I would just like to show you the outcome. So when we spawn a creep now, you can see that only the bounty shows up. Maybe I have to adjust the width of this bar, or maybe add some more details about the creeps, like their running speed, or maybe something else. And I also rearranged all those elements on the bottom to make it a little bit more so that you can see the relevant data faster. And I also updated the tooltip to show you this. I probably have to restart because they all went to the end of the map. So when I spawn a tower now, or here when I move the mouse over the icon on the bottom left, you can see tooltip, and I resized this panel a little bit and made it bigger so you can read it better. And probably I will rearrange the place where it shows up a bit, but generally it's much better than before, I guess. Also the information about the selection, I made the font that it scales depending on how much text is inside. So you have base for building tower, and now when we select the footman, attacks from close range, deals pierce damage, effective against units with light armor. So this will always rescale depending on the text. So the last thing, which was not a bug, which I've done this week, was to update the shortkeys menu, because I have added a shortkey to hide the UI elements, left control and H. So you can now take good screenshots, and I will use that for the trailer creation. And if you press it again, it will show up. And if you might noticed already, in the main menu we have here this controls panel, and I have updated it with the new shortcuts, and I have removed some shortcuts which are not relevant anymore. This is future Christian. I just noticed that the video is already about 8 minutes long, and I don't want it to make it too long, so I decided to split the video in 2 parts and upload the second part on Thursday. If you want to know which assets are used to create CreepWars TD, you can find a link to the most important ones in the description. And if you want to try the game itself, there's a free demo on Steam. I also add the link in the description. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That helps a lot. Thank you for watching. Bye.